Gareth, and I'm hoping you can hear us this time. I am the community manager here at Paradox for Stellaris, and I am joined today by Christopher.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
And what is it that you do, and who do you do it for?
Well, I'm from a company called Fast Travel Games, and we have, in collaboration with you guys, developed a title called Go Signal. Like we can already see in the chat, there was a fitting start for this stream that we couldn't be heard.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm the lead designer and game director for that game, basically.
And what is it that is about Go Signal that's distinctly different from Stellaris?
There's a lot of similarities, but obviously the big difference is that it's an action VR roguelite game and not a grand strategy game. It is set, though, in the vast and exciting universe that is Stellaris.
And showing us the game is Johan, who is going to be in the VR world, universe, galaxy, playing through the game. So if you guys have any questions for us about what you are seeing, if you want to know more about Fast Travel Games or the game itself or how it came about or anything like that, then please do let us know. We have tabs on all of the chats, although could we get the Twitch chat made a bit bigger, because that is still kind of small. But yes, are we able to show the VR and we can get started, I think.
All right, let's go. I think I need to see first, so it's casting probably, which is not.
Uh-oh. So while we're getting that set up, what is it you're most excited to show off?
Well, that would be the game. But we'll get into the details as Johan is starting out here. I assume people can see what we can see and what Johan can see now?
Yes.
Amazing.
Awesome.
So he's just thrown into the very first battle of the game here in this asteroid field. And I'm going to go over what happens as Johan is playing. Again, it's not a grand strategy game. It's a roguelite action game set in VR. You move between sectors, and the objective for most sectors are to obliterate your enemies, to advance in the search for the mysterious ghost signal. So what Johan has found here is what we call a component, a power-up, basically. He has a choice between two here.
Hard choice.
Hard choice.
But I really like this one. This one is one of my favorites, so we're going to go for that one, I think.
Excellent. The blaster sequencer basically makes your blaster weapon stronger the more blaster power-ups you have accumulated. You have 3 weapons in this game. The blaster, as I just mentioned, which is a short-range cannon that is very good against enemy hull in general. Then you get a long-range weapon that he's using right now to target asteroids from afar. It has obviously a longer range, and it deals quickly with enemies that are equipped with shields. Then finally you have a third weapon, which is sort of your smart bomb solution, the missile. They are very strong against basically anything, but come in limited supply. And right now he's collecting some loot after the battle, which can be done by scanning asteroids with his left hand, and then picking up the golden scrap that is left behind.
So the blue cone that we're seeing, that's the scanner.
That's the scanner, and we're going to get into more details about the scanner as we move along. So now he's opened the sector map, since the first battle is extremely short. And he has a choice that is initially similar, but then will become more interesting. I don't know what you say, Johan.
Yeah, I think we're going for this one, since I think it's going to be a lot more components.
Sounds perfect.
So these sectors, are they randomly generated or are they
Yes.
set?
Exactly. So every time you start the game, your map will look completely different, and that's part of the roguelite fun experience. You never really know exactly what you're going to expect. So before the enemies arrive here, he managed to scan some asteroids, and then we seem to have lost the feed.
Let me see if I can fix that.
So while we're trying to fix that, so we saw the scanner there at play. What type of things can you use the scanner for?
Well, you can, again, hunt for loot. You can use it as a mean of communicating with other species that we're also going to encounter down the line. They can be on planets or on space stations, but it's sort of you open up a communication channel by using it. And finally, there are some secret uses that will become apparent for the players who hopefully manage to reach the end of it.
Ooh, exciting.
Seem to be having some troubles with the Wi-Fi at the moment.
Do you need a hand with it?
Yes, I think so.
We get some tech support?
In the meantime, maybe I can try to set the stage for the game, since we now just literally jumped into it. From a story perspective, you are a captain of the spaceship Aurora. That is actually shown on screen here. This is the Aurora.
Ooh.
A little figurine there. The Aurora is a science vessel primarily, but since it's located at the sort of edge of the known universe, far from the reaches of the big empires that are usually present in the original Stellaris, the Aurora is also equipped with some weaponry to be able to handle herself. And as the game starts out, you intercept this strange message, basically enigmatic and cryptic, and after some decryption, it seems to be talking about some kind of strange loop. Shortly thereafter, you're knocked by a massive shockwave that does two key important things. It basically disables your long-range skip drive and your communication with your home base. So now you're left alone here on the outskirts of the universe, and the only course of action is to try to find the source of this mysterious signal to be able to survive, basically.
Which I think kind of answers your question there, Cosmic Xenos. Is the game anything to do with the Ghost Signal event in Stellaris?
I can neither confirm nor deny that, but play and you shall find out.
Just go through the systems and see what you find.
But it's a wonderful setting, I believe. It's, again, this is the place where pirates roam, where exiled princes and lords have ended up, where shady scientists conduct their weird experiments, and the humans are actually considered the rare ones, and the exotic ones. So hopefully, as a player, that's an exciting setting to explore.
So players will be coming across the various species that they would also find in Stellaris?
Definitely, definitely. There will be aquatic species, plantoids, molluscoids, reptilian. You will meet most of them.
So this is going to give you that opportunity rather than just seeing everything from the Empire level. It's a bit more of a personal relationship.
Very much more personal and zoomed in overall. And this is what's great about VR, since I think all players from the original game are used to seeing space stations and planets as a stamp on their screen, but here they can really experience the massive scale of stuff.
Is it working now?
Looks like we're back in
Awesome.
again now. Yes,
Awesome.
we are.
Fantastic.
Right back into action.
Joan is now battling a second enemy, a rammer that has the unorthodox tactics of trying to charge ahead and just knock you straight on the nose.
So why are we going after the asteroids at the moment? What's that giving us?
Yeah, so you can scan these asteroids to see if there are some scraps, which is the currency in the game, used in shops and different events in order to get upgrades for the ship. So it's very valuable to take the time and scan the asteroids to see if you can find any scrap in this.
And how does it show up if there is scrap there?
You see this glowing part of the asteroid. So you just scan over the asteroids, and if you find that they are glowing, then you will know that there are scraps inside of them. So then you just destroy them and pick them up with the scanner.
Gotcha. And are any of the weapons particularly good against asteroids, or can you just hit them with anything?
You can basically hit them with everything, but personally I prefer using the laser because of the long range, but also we have some components that increases scraps when using the laser. So my preferred choice is the laser, but you can use whichever you want.
So you could say it becomes a mining laser.
Yeah.
We actually have a drill ray component that turns the laser into a drill and mines much more effectively.
So what do you think, Chris? Should we go for the creature?
I think we should definitely go for the creature.
I think so too, right?
Let's see. So again, since the game is random. We don't know what creature we're gonna find in this sector, but we'll soon find out.
Oh, nice.
We were incredibly lucky.
Very lucky.
So this is, I think, many viewers recognize as Sky Dragon, which in Ghost Signal offers the players a choice between boons, and if you have the possibility, it's a safe bet to always go for the Dragon Egg.
Yeah, we are going for the Dragon Egg.
So again, the Dragon's Egg is a component, a power-up, which you saw now gives us a Sky Dragon companion.
This little guy right here.
Aha, yes, I see.
He's going to be very
Floating
useful when progressing through the game.
And
A lot of creatures are hostile, but the Sky Dragon is friendly.
And what is your new companion able to do? Do they fight as well, or are they just another target?
They actually, you will probably see that in the next sector. Not the next sector, because this is a shop sector. But it does have a laser that it shoots at enemies. And it also has a health bar, so enemies will target them or target the companion, which is also very helpful in stressful situations.
So with the map, there are the different sectors. Once you've progressed forwards, are you able to go back again to revisit something?
No, part of the design is that you have to keep moving forward. So yellow sectors are basically sectors with shopkeepers. And again, players would most likely recognize the one that's quite here.
Before you buy that, can we talk about what the 3 different purchases there are and
For sure.
why you would buy them?
Yeah, so I'm looking at them right now. We have the shield catalyst, which has a chance of restoring the ship's shield by 50% if the shield is depleted. So the shield is I don't know if you can see it properly right now, but the shield is the blue bar over the green bar. And once that is depleted, your health is gonna take damage instead. And health is not regenerated the same way as shield is. Shield is regenerated in each sector as soon as you enter a new one.
So the shield is basically, it's good to have a lot of shield because it will always be there for you while your green hull bar, the health stays as it is.
We also have the rapid special, which decreases the recharge rate of your special abilities. So we have the yellow bar underneath the green bar that marks your special ability. And we have a special that is a speed boost, which is very good to use against chargers that we saw earlier. Since they ram you very quickly, it's good to get away with those speed boosts.
Sure. We have a request coming in. Johan, could you try to keep your head a little more steady?
Sorry.
And also with the ray pointer, it's getting quite shaky.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
This is interesting to note that when you're in the headset, you don't notice these things, but when you see it on a flat screen stream, it's very noticeable.
Yeah, can confirm. I had a little go with this myself when it was first introduced to us, and it's a completely different experience. I've never used VR before that time. And yeah, just getting used to the controls took me a while, but just the immersion of having everything around you, it's just an incredible feeling.
Oh, we got an error again.
So yeah, we're having an issue at the moment with the Wi-Fi connection in the office. This isn't the game itself, this is our Wi-Fi, so sorry.
Well, we're getting natural breaks to talk about stuff, but we seem to be back already.
Yes, that was pretty quick.
So the shops are basically, you can purchase as much as you can afford. Johan happened to stumble upon a defensive shops. There's also, or rather utility shops as we call them. But basically stuff that helps you out. And then there are more offense-oriented, offensive shops as well that we call weapon shops.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going into an elite battle. I don't know if you saw that, Chris, but maybe you want to talk a bit about those.
So elite battles are basically battles that obviously are harder, hence the name. You will encounter special elite enemies that can do some nasty stuff for you or to you. But if you can survive, you are guaranteed a component, a power-up as a drop, which is not the case in normal battles. So if you think you can manage it, it's always good to go for it.
Well, you did something that did a tremendous amount of damage there.
That would be a missile?
It's the missiles. I tend to try to use them on these because they are quite nasty to go up against these enemies. They do a lot of damage. But I think we managed to get away.
Looks like it's gone well, yeah. Nicely done. So we're seeing here that this is all full 3D. That you have every axis. It's not just flat landscape. How does that affect how you play, needing that extra spatial awareness?
Well, that's part of the interesting gameplay experience, basically. You have to watch all angles. In a lot of games, especially on flat screen, not all, but many, you only have to worry about 2 dimensions. Here, you have to worry about all 3. You use the angling of the controllers to easily point at whatever you want to target or where you want your ship to go. So that's perfect for VR to be able to orientate in 3D space like this.
And this probably is a good opportunity to talk a bit more about how the controls work. So what exactly are you doing with each of your hands, and how does that interaction work?
Right, so let me see if I can close.
We have you on the camera, so you can like hold up your hand if you're talking about whatever.
So moving around, I press I think it's the A button, I can't see right now.
Hold it in front of you, like in your chest. There you go.
There we go, I can see. Yeah, so what I do is to place one waypoint where the ship will go, I just hold the button. And if I want to press multiple, I press the trigger on that controller. You can change from left hand to right hand if you feel more comfortable with that. To shoot, we just select the weapon on the trigger, and then we shoot by using the right trigger as well.
Okay.
And then we have the special on I think it's on Y, this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Basically, you have your combat hand and your data hand, as we call it. And you can set whichever you prefer, if you're left or right-handed.
And with the data hand, I can scan with the left trigger. I can also drag in space to move around. So if I just press this trigger right here, or this trigger, I can drag around. I can also rotate if I press both of them at the same time.
Gotcha.
There we go.
For a moment, the camera's just looking at us and not you. But now you're overlaid on top of us, so you can see all 3 of
awesome.
us. So yeah, there was a pop-up there for a second, which has just disappeared, which I was about to mention.
Yeah.
But while we're waiting for that, what are the system requirements for the game, and is there any Linux support?
Well, the game is right now a MetaQuest exclusive. We haven't closed any doors for other platforms, though, but right now, when it releases tomorrow, it can only be purchased on the MetaQuest 2. So all the requirements are right in that device.
Gotcha. Is Bubbles going to be in the game?
There is a reference, if I'm not mistaken. But again, play and find out.
I mean, that's always the difficulty that we have. We want to show everything off, but also we want you to experience the game for yourselves. Johan, try to recast to something.
Oh, it stopped casting again?
Yeah, try to recast to the Chromecast.
Will do. See if that works.
Nothing yet.
No.
No. So, sorry about this. We're sorting out Wi-Fi issues again. We're basically having to juggle different internet networks here to bring all of this to you, and there are some tech issues to sort. Anyway, we're back into the game. There we go. Oh, no, it's gone again. We'll get there eventually. Is there a release date?
Yeah, like I just mentioned, but maybe good to emphasize. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
I'm going to look at a cue card here that I've been handed, so I say it correctly. 7 a.m. Pacific time and 10 a.m. Central European time.
Very cool. And do you have any plans to celebrate the release amongst yourselves?
I think we'll have some champagne at the office, and then we'll hopefully watch players play it.
And how many people are in your company? How many people are working on this?
Well, in this specific team, we have a collaboration with another company called Windswept. Well, the team is called Windswept, at least. Roughly the team is 10 people, but it's been more and less during this journey.
Need to try to recast the Chromecast again.
All right.
And I understand that you've done other games in collaboration with Paradox before. Can you talk at all about what those were?
Well, those were actually before my time, but I can mention that we have the Afterlife title as part of the World of Darkness genre or IP. And then we, a while back, released Cities VR, which is a port of the Cities Skyline game. Afterlife is its own complete unique experience, whereas Cities it's a direct port to a lot of on an extent. Whereas again, Ghost Signal is its completely unique own game.
So why did you choose Stellaris for your focus here?
Well, we have been doing again some the earlier collaborations with you guys, and this just felt like a natural next step. Like this, we haven't looked at this IP yet. What could we do? We early on again decided that we should not try to recreate the experience. The game is perfect as it is on flat screen. But again, with the rich universe and lore, let's see if we can zoom in and create an adventure within the boundaries of that universe.
And as we were talking about previously, the platform itself supports this more action-orientated gameplay better than it would strategy, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would have been an interesting challenge to try and actually make Stellaris for VR, but I don't think that's the right game for the right platform, basically.
Mm-hmm. And why did you want to go for a roguelike?
Well, there was many various reasons. We felt it fitted with this theme of diving into an unknown universe that changes a lot. But then personally, I am a big fan of the roguelike genre. I played games like Hades a lot. I think what they accomplished with that game in terms of story and a lot is amazing. And I was super happy to be able to explore that genre further with
I've heard a lot of really good things about Hades, but I've never tried it. So I'm going to have to bump that up on my wish list now, I think.
Perhaps you've tried Faster Than Light,
yes.
The old classic. So that's another one, a more old school game that I also enjoy. Maybe a few viewers and listeners do as well.
Yeah, I always get actually your company name, Fast Travel Games, confused with Faster Than Life. And I always have to kind of check myself that I'm saying the right one.
And it's important to point out that this is not Hades, this is not Faster Than Light, it's its own thing, but maybe players will find some stuff that they recognize somewhere.
I mean, all genres will always have things that you can, a frame of reference to other things. That's why they're a genre.
So now Johan, since the stream is back and working again, he has entered an event sector. And event sectors are actually they're one of the more exciting sectors that you can stumble upon because a lot of different stuff can happen. In this case, he has encountered an alien creature that gives him a choice. He can either receive a component, a low-level component. All components, this is a good time to mention that all components come in 3 levels. Player can usually find them on level 1, but upgrade them himself or herself. But in this case, Johan has the chance to get a level 1 component, a level 2 component, or a level 3 component. But he also suffers the risk of instead getting a defect, which is basically powered down. So the safe choice here would be the bottom choice, which has a 75% chance of granting him a free power-up, but a 25% risk of punishing him with the defect.
So what exactly would the defect do if you did get that?
That's also part of the fun with randomness. You don't know until you get it. Oh. We have a bunch of different defects, and they all do. They range from the annoying to the downright problematic. There are ways to tackle defects should you suffer them, but we'll get to that.
So Kurosame is asking, so why would you choose the top option?
Well, if you're a gambling man or woman, that would be your choice. It's really good to get a level 3 component, but again, it's only a 25% chance. So most likely you will end up with a defect, but you never know.
And normally in the game you would only receive level 1 components. So you can actually upgrade the components in the game, but it will cost you scrap. Whereas getting a level 3 component straight away would just you wouldn't pay any scrap for it. So it is a tremendous advantage to have those.
Yeah, super cost efficient, basically.
Yeah. Okay, you're reconnecting. Good.
Are we connected again?
We're currently not seeing the game. But it looks like it's being worked on. Cool. So what kind of things could the defects do?
We have one defect that makes all loot disappear if you don't collect it. I don't know if you have noticed, but the way you collect loot is to also use your scanner beam. It can not only detect asteroids, but once you've destroyed it and it has dropped the scrap, you can scan it to collect it. It usually lies there forever, but if you've gotten the defect, I can't remember the name right now, I think it's radiation leak, all of these will blink and fade away within a few seconds. So the game is fully playable, but it's just, you have to be prepared.
Right.
That would fall into the annoying category. Then you could also get a dimensional parasite, which eats away a bit of your shield permanently until you can get rid of it. That would fall into the category that makes the game definitely more difficult to advance. But it's part of the fun to try and gamble a bit.
Yeah, that RNG is kind of what makes it interesting. I did see a question earlier. Are there more than just the 3 weapons that you start with, or are you set with those 3?
You are set with those 3, including your special ability, the speed boost. But again, there are tons and tons of power-ups, components to find that modify. We haven't even begun to scratch the surface, but for the laser, you can get a power-up that's called Freeze Ray. I think the name is pretty clear.
Gives it away, yeah.
Now your laser suddenly becomes blue and will make all enemies and missiles that targets you slower if you target them. And the thing is that the components stack. So if you have the drill ray, which was efficient against asteroids, and you get the freeze ray, now you have a drill freeze ray. And then it just continues. There is a very strong chain laser that you can get that can make your laser extend to multiple ships and so forth. And
Very
then
cool.
you can power up your missiles, you can power up your blaster, and then again have dragon companions as passive abilities. So.
Okay, so we're back in the game. I just want to say we've set this up with a local network now, so hopefully we're not going to have the constant Wi-Fi interruptions. We're working on it.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I guess this is a great time to talk about the tech tree here.
Exactly. Maybe let's really take it from the start here. So, what happens now before we get cut out is that Johan has died, and you will be dying a lot in this game. It's a roguelike. That's part of the experience. You die, and then you learn strategies, and you become better. You end up here back at the start screen every time you do. And again, part of the roguelite experience, you lose all the power-ups you had, but you do keep one important thing, and that is the purple experience points that Johan is pointing to. Those, as long as you collect them, are yours to keep. And in between journeys, as we call them, you have 3 different experience trees, or research areas, as we call them, where you can spend this experience and permanently become stronger. So this is the assistance tree, that can make you start out with more money and make scrap come to you. This is the components tree that directly unlocks new components that can be found in the game. Johan just purchased the blaster range component. That doesn't mean that this blaster now has a longer range, but it means that he can find the component, the power-up, that increases the range for his blaster, which is a really good component to get.
Yeah, and power-ups are always extra fun to get, so I like to max out this tree. I also like this tree since we have a lot of damage and speed and health in this tree as well.
This is the tree that is sort of directly tied. It's literally called the Aurora. It's directly tied to your ship, the Aurora. So like Johan mentioned, it increases your hull and your shield and your amount of missiles, and it can even give you additional waypoint nodes.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So with the speed boosts, is that so you can dodge incoming attacks?
Exactly. So if you want to show that on the Aurora trio, and exactly that one in enhanced thrusters will increase the duration of the speed boost. It's really nifty.
Very nice. Extra missiles.
We can afford. We also have this pointer to show which one you still can afford. So I have 268, but this one costs 375. So I can afford these two. And
so this is the time where the player can sort of relax, consider her options. Should I do this? Should I do that? What should I invest in? And get stronger along the way. Maybe you also want to show the data files.
Yeah, sure.
So this is a personal favorite of mine, actually, since this is I guess you could call it almost like your Pokédex. You every creature that you encounter, every enemy that you stumble upon, every boss that you conquer, every component that you discover is collected here. And the more and more you collect, now it's very hard to see since Johan hasn't encountered too much, but in the end, the actual 3D models will be represented here in your sort of personal visual library where you can study all the creatures and power-ups you have encountered.
And with the creatures, would it give you tips on how to fight them or anything like that?
Yeah, it would. And this is for all you completionists out there. There is stuff to find in this game, as you can see. Maybe you want to just show the final slide of the data files as well, Johan.
You mean this one?
Yeah, the very secretive. Will exactly. As you see, we can't enter it yet. The very secret, restrictive area of the data files, which ties more into the story. Thanks.
Cool.
Do you want to show some more, or should we jump back in?
Let's head out again, now that you have gotten some extra strength, and see how far we can get.
I'm itching to play some more.
I want to see how you progress.
Yeah, the goal, I think, let's see if we can find and defeat the first boss.
Hopefully we don't have any more struggles with the casting now, so we can get to the first boss.
Yeah, I think now that we're actually wired up, it should be a lot more stable. Okay, so this is the first battle again.
Yep. Exactly. And the first battle is a bit special. Even though it's not an elite battle, you're always guaranteed after the end a component. So after these enemies are disposed of, we'll see what the choice become this time.
And is there any indicator of how many enemies are still to come in?
No, but your robotic companion Veer, that joins us directly from the original game, he will shout at you if you miss enemies. Okay, this was an interesting choice. We got blaze missiles and laser reloader.
I mean, I normally go a lot for damage, so I think I'm gonna choose this one. This one is a bit fun, I think. It turns enemies on fire when you shoot a missile on them. Or is it just a chance, maybe, that they do it?
It's a guaranteed.
Okay.
So
even better.
It's basically poison in space. Your enemies will burn and take damage over time. The other component was not bad either. It would have made his laser weapon recharge faster. Because all of these, you can see that on the orange circle, which is the ammunition bar, that it drains when he fires lasers and blasters and missiles. No weapon has infinite ammunition, but the blaster and laser recharges real quick, whereas the missiles, you need to actually find missile ammunition.
And would those missiles be pickups?
Exactly. They're also drops from enemies.
And can you buy those in stations as well?
You actually can't, but you can upgrade it temporarily once we meet the Tinkerer brothers that we're hopefully going to encounter further down the line here.
So then, talk to us about what exactly we're seeing in the HUD there. So we've got the green circle, the pips going around the edge.
Yeah, so the pips would be the blaster bullets, basically, whereas the laser has this continuous circle instead. Mm-hmm. The laser has the advantage that it immediately connects with enemies, whereas blaster bullets actually have to travel to the opponents. Some excellent maneuvering there, avoiding the hammerhead. And the battle is yet again won.
Can the blaster miss?
The blaster can miss. It won't miss close enemies, but if you if you fire on enemies that are far away, it most definitely can miss.
And is there any way of increasing that accuracy?
No, but if you increase the range, it will actually help as a side effect because those are intrinsically tied.
Gotcha.
So what do you say here, Chris? Should we go for another creature or another event?
Let's go for another creature.
Yeah.
And see.
It's also good because creatures have a 100% chance of dropping a component as well, whereas events, you could get a defect instead. But you can also get a lot bigger rewards from events.
Here's another creature that viewers most likely will recognize, the space whale. And like Johan just mentioned, why you would ever go into a creature sector is that you're guaranteed a component afterwards. Again, this creature is very friendly. It doesn't do anything. So it's, again, a lucky coincidence from Johan with both the space whale and the sky dragon.
Maybe we should also mention that the components that you get from the creatures are actually very different from the components. You can only get these components from these specific creatures.
Yep.
So they are very lucrative in that way.
Yep.
And does the components you get depend on the creature?
Yes. Exactly. So the drill ray is directly tied to the space whale.
Yeah. So now I will get increased scrap when I'm mining with the laser. Like this is the one we were talking about previously as well.
You can see this little laser drill at the tip of the laser now.
Yeah, I don't think, since this is a shop, I don't have that much money, and I like to gamble a bit. Maybe we should go for the elite battle.
Go for the elite battle.
Go for it.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more about that soon, but this is the first of many maps. The game in total has 7 maps, and we still haven't even progressed to the second map yet, but hope that's the plan for this run.
So you mentioned earlier that you have the shield and the health. Shield recharges every time you go to a new sector, and health never does.
They're also something that the Tinkerer brothers can help out with. But in general, you need to be wary of your health, your hull. So there you can see the glowing green tip. That signifies that the ship will turn on, catch fire. But since the missiles are also quite strong, and this is early in game, he obliterated the thing quickly instead.
Yeah, we saw last time that one missile took off like 3/4 of its health, so 2 missiles that's a dead ship.
Yep.
Oh. There goes the shield.
Even though Johan is a skilled player, being one of our developers, he still struggles with the hammerheads.
I'm under pressure here.
Yeah. Nice.
Whoa.
Well done.
Okay, so the yellow bar is the speed boost.
Yes.
Exactly. The hammerheads can be dealt with simply by observing them, but there's so much other stuff going on. That's how they get you, basically.
And since this is an elite battle, we also get a component after we're done. So I normally like to go a lot for elite battles and events and creatures, since you will get more powerful. Elite battles are a bit more risky. You can potentially die, which is more like ability than a probability, but you will get so much more powerful after doing it. So I like to do it.
So what does the Jax Bond do? There we go.
This one is a little bit different from the other components. This one will change to another component once you progress through 9 different sectors. So one sector is this map we're in right now. So once you've gone through 9 of them, you will get an upgrade on this one, which will be another component that is very powerful. Ooh. And then we have the blaster reloader, which is similar to the laser reloader. It decreases the reload time for the blaster.
Exactly, and as you can see again, we've spent a lot of time making a lot of different components, again, to give you a lot of options and a different journey experience each time. Maybe you should show, I know we have briefly looked at that, but maybe we should show the upgrade possibility here. So this is your component ship overview screen. We can see the components we have collected so far. And for each of the components, we give the player 2 choices. You can either upgrade it, which you can do at any time, as long as you have the money. So now the drill ray became level 2, which is really good. To upgrade this early, it will give you more scrap early on. A great investment for this journey. You can also, as Jonas pointed out, recycle components. That makes you lose the component, but also give you money in return. So if you find a really good component at a shop, but you can't afford it, you can, make the difficult choice of actually leaving one behind.
Or if you find a component you're not particularly interested in. Yeah.
You still get the money. And you can upgrade between runs or journeys. You can upgrade to get more scrap permanently using the research areas we looked at earlier.
So one thing we haven't really talked about yet is movement. How does movement in this work? I mean, probably do it after the battle. But
Well, we can see that Johan immediately has chained the 2 waypoints here, which is a good start, since enemies will try to target you, so moving is never a bad thing in this game.
I would say movement is key to success in this game. It's a lot of enemies depend on you not moving around so much, or they not necessarily depend on it, but since the charges, for example, they charge in a straight line, so you definitely want to be moving around as much as possible to avoid damage.
And movement is not infinite. You have this set distance, but again, you can anchor different waypoints and even unlock more of those permanently in the research area between journeys.
And the waypoints are done with your controller
Exactly.
clicking on different area. Okay.
Yeah, like this.
Aha. Yeah, that was one of the things I had to get used to when I was playing this.
Yeah.
It's like the different interactions between like your scanner and then movement and then targeting different things with shooting.
It can be a few things to learn initially, but we haven't shown that, but we have a quite neat little tutorial that eases the player in should she
We also
want
have
it.
a setting for, there are actually 2 different movement modes. I like to prefer the mode 2, but I know the other guys and girls at the development team normally use the mode 1. So it's definitely a preferred option. I think also the movement is something that we iterated quite a lot on during this.
Absolutely. It's been incredibly tricky to get this right, and I'm still not sure if we have fully succeeded, but we're happy with it. I haven't seen any other game move like this, so I'm super proud we actually managed to crack this nut.
Do the Aurora's weapons correspond to any weapons in Stellaris?
Not directly would be the short answer, even though a lot of lore and tech are there in the background. There are descriptions for many of the, or for all of the power-ups, of course, and when applicable, we have tried to tie it into the original lore as much as possible.
And how long was this game in development?
It's been in development from the actual start to finish, roughly 20 months. We started out doing a lot of prototype work, and then streamlined the experience more and more and more. Initially, you actually you sort of placed your crosshairs on enemies, like dropping it on actual enemies. It's quite a nice fit for VR, but it takes some time. So as we streamlined the experience, it became much more and more efficient, and we ended up with just pointing and using the thumbstick for easy access of the weapons. This is an interesting creature.
Yeah.
Still, nothing is visible on screen, which is as it should, but Johan and me recognize what happens.
Of course.
Oh.
So this is one of the creatures that will do you harm. This is a void spawn that was just born out of this seemingly normal planet that turned out to be a void spawn egg. It will do a massive scream that hurts not only you, but also all enemies. So for all involved parties, it's good to finish these battles as quickly as possible.
It also knocks you back a bit. You may have noticed it just happening right there.
And again, the stream is now showing something on a flat screen. You can imagine experience this in full 3D around you when you have this massive looming dragon looking down at you. You hear the roars, you hear the screams, everything shakes. it really needs to be experienced in VR to fully get it.
And in fact, there was a comment there on Twitch. Can we get the Twitch chat scrolled up just a tiny bit? Because I want to read that one out because it was a pretty cool comment. Nurgle. Can we get the Twitch chat scrolled up just a little bit? I wanted to read the comment that's kind of cut off there. Thank you. The sense of scale and being in space is awesome in VR. Also, the toy room feeling of controlling the Aurora and its artillery in this miniature way really needs to be tried in VR to fully understand just how cool it is. And I definitely want to confirm that, having tried this, like, a lot of the sense of scale is lost just watching this on a flat screen. You have to be there. You have to be able to look around, and just catching things in your periphery has such a crazy sense of immersion. It's really quite impressive.
Okay, so now we actually have a shopkeeper, which is an offensive shopkeeper. And since we did some tech tree upgrades, we actually have a discount on one of these. So this would normally cost 100 scrap, but now it's only 80 since it's 20% off, which is nice. And I really like the Meteor Blaster because it partly increases the firing rates, which also makes it easier to fire down enemies that are fast and far away, and it increases the shot speed as well. And it also adds a knockback, which I generally like because it cancels out some of the charges and stuff. So I really like that one.
Nice.
It does a lot of things, but basically turns your normal blaster bullets into small meteorites.
Yeah, I think we can actually afford all of this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and buy all of them.
Go for it.
I mean, you've been using the blaster pretty heavily.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. You kind of switch around a bit depending on what components you get. Sometimes you get more components for the laser, so the laser becomes your ultimate choice in battles. But in this one, I've gotten a lot more components for the blasters. So right now, that's my weapon of choice, definitely.
And that's one of the cool ways that this game is so replayable. Is every playthrough is going to be different because the different components you pick up are going to change how you play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And part of the fun is finding, like, as you play, finding your favorite components, like the one you like, hunting for those, and also finding the synergies between components, like which component fits well together. You can upgrade the missiles a lot, for instance, but if you're going to go that path, it might be wise to find a component that perhaps decreases the lock-on time for the missiles so we can fire them faster and so forth.
Should we take the risk here and go for the elite battle, or do we really want to get to the boss? That's the question.
I would say yes to both.
Yes to both. Okay, let's go for an elite battle.
Do it.
Those are always fun.
So are the elites always going to be those like carrier type ships, or are there different types of elites that you can come across?
Different types of elite enemies can appear. They are always going to be nastier than normal enemies, but again, free component as your reward if you can survive. But again, this is a strategic choice. If Johan should have wanted to pick the safe route, he should have picked the bottom road at the same time.
I started to regret my choices now.
Were you out of missiles as well?
I think I have I have one.
Whoops.
So we got some help there from one of the chargers who charged into the elite mob.
Perfect. So the elite enemy is now firing missiles at Johan, but he can target those as well and try to take them out before they reach him.
Nicely played. That was some nice movement.
Our missiles are very powerful at the moment because of the components. I realized we almost took that one out in one shot, which is always nice.
That's good.
But now we don't.
That's the tactic
we
you
actually
used.
got one missile there. That's good.
Perfect.
Two.
Oh, two.
Perfect. Then we have some for the boss.
Good.
It's always good to save missiles for the boss.
Oh, so that's why you didn't want to go after the elite. I get it, because you wanted to save the ornaments you have.
Yeah, the boss is coming up, so it's good to not be completely naked when you face it.
So is that a second elite?
Yeah, this is elite battles can include more than one elite, especially as you progress. Since we're on the second map out of 7 now, the game is already harder.
Oh, sorry. We also managed to just trigger our component when our shield was depleted to stun the enemies around us that we got from the creature. Funnily enough, the elite enemy we are meeting right now actually has the same components. So elite enemies actually do have components that the player can have. And this one has the shield stunner. So when the shield is depleted, you will be stunned by this enemy.
I saw there was a question in the chat there. Will there be a way to increase the difficulty? And again, without going into too many details, yes. It's safe to say that if you reach the end of map 7 and complete the game does not stop there. The game continues. There's more to explore and discover. And there are more difficult things to encounter, basically.
You survived, but you did take some health damage.
I did, yeah.
You worried? Is that going to affect the boss?
Sorry?
Are you worried about that? Is that going to affect your chances?
Yeah, it's definitely going to affect my chances. But we do have Tinkers before, which could heal me. Because I think the first boss is pretty tricky.
So heavy missiles increases lock-on time, but it also increases damage.
Yeah. Not all components. Most components give only a positive thing, but some have a downside as well.
I'm gonna go with the one without a downside, especially since I have a little bit lower health at the moment. I think it's maybe good to be a little bit safe, especially now when we're playing live.
Well, I've lost games live before, so...
Yeah.
So now we're going to visit the Tinkerers that we have been talking a lot about. They are always... The map is always randomized, but you're always guaranteed to encounter the Tinkerers before a boss. And the boss is always guaranteed to end up at the end of every second map, basically. So basically these guys are brothers. They all have a speciality. This red one can... remove the defects that we talked about earlier. So if you have a defect that is really annoying, this is the man you wanna talk to.
Yeah, but we don't have any now, so we don't need to choose that one.
This is the older brother. He is more to the point. He can give you more missiles if you have the money.
Maximum missiles, you could carry 3 then.
Exactly, which is really, really good.
And this one is definitely necessary now, since it will repair half of my health for 100 scrap, which is definitely valuable, and I will be back to almost full health, which is very good for the upcoming boss.
So the trick with these brothers are that, as you can see, that they all teleported away. They are very jealous of each other, and you may only purchase from one of them. So once he picked the smaller brother's choice of having his hull restored, the other two left, and now it's boss time.
Are we ready?
I think we're ready.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Now it's focus mode.
Yeah, I've never seen any of the bosses in there, so I'm very curious.
I don't think we actually showcased any of the bosses, so it's nice. It's a first view for everyone looking at it.
Hold fast.
Yeah, this boss is called the Chimera. It consists of different parts, as you can see here, 3 different satellites, as we call them. They all do different things. One of these satellites will spawn enemies, one will fire rings of blaster bullets, and the third one will use these lasers to try and cut Johan here. The trick with this boss is that once you defeat one of these satellites, the other 2 will be healed, and not only that, they will also become stronger.
Oh.
So you need to play and learn and figure out which one of the satellites you want to take out and which ones you want to leave to the very end. There, Johan's shield break triggered again. The component power-up that pushes enemies once the shield bar is finished.
So close to killing that one.
Yep. So now if we keep a close watch on the other 2, they not only got healed, but they got upgraded and will now attack more aggressively. It's also worth pointing out that, again, this is for players to find out, but these might not be the only satellites the Chimera can summon, so it has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. So yeah, the cut laser is now 4 beams instead of 2. The enemies that will be summoned are later game enemies.
And you're down to less than half health.
This is actually gonna be tricky.
it's not looking great right now.
I think you're gonna make it. Have you fired all your missiles?
Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot about the missiles.
Yeah, you might need those.
Yeah.
Come on. You can do it. Now we're down to the last satellite.
But how powerful is that satellite going to be? Because it's going to be summoning much bigger creatures now.
Yeah, so again, the problem is that one summons enemies, which will also become an increasingly bigger problem. But that missile should almost do it.
I think so. I hope so. Oh no.
Oh,
no.
Oh!
Yeah, so close.
And let's see if the missile hits. I didn't even scratch it. Well, good try.
Yeah.
Excellent try. After this, would he have survived? You enter what we call a new biome, so enemy types will change. They will become more insect-like. There's a new boss waiting, and then that continues until you reach map 7, basically.
Which is when the grand reveal of the fact that you are actually fighting against Redacted will occur.
Exactly. But as last time, Johan has now accumulated some new, fresh experience to spend here.
Get some extra components in the game. As said previously, those are always fun. But I think, oh yeah, I spent all my experience in those.
So as you go down the tech tree, do the techs get more expensive?
Definitely.
Yes. I don't know. Yeah, you can see here. So
Oh, yeah,
way
1,000.
down the line, it's quite expensive. So you will have to play a couple of times to unlock all the nodes.
But maybe we can look at a few specific nodes to identify one. You have this, if you go to the assistance map, you have the magnetic fields up to the right there. This node doesn't actually make the game easier, but it makes the game more comfortable. Now you don't have to scan scrap anymore. They will come to you instead, which is really nifty.
Yeah, or to collect loot. Nice.
This tree does basically two things. It can help you, but it can also make your life more comfortable. The expanded database in this case will display the titles of different planets and space stations you find if you scan them. So that's a neat way to also get further into the universe. Perhaps if we go to exactly the components tree, right smack in the middle there, we get the black hole missiles, which is a real treat to unlock. If you unlock this and then find the black hole components within the game, you will now, as the name suggests, actually create black holes once the missile hits, and those will suck in everything that is in close vicinity, creating quite the havoc.
I just realized maybe we should have gone for that one just because it's so powerful, but yeah, next time.
Next run. Yeah,
you can check out the hangar as well if you want. So this is where you can sort of view the aurora. This is directly tied to the research area. So when you upgrade stuff here, stuff will get visibly shown in the hangar.
Yeah, we also have skins that you can actually unlock in the tech tree. If you prefer another skin from the default one, you can unlock those and choose between 4 different skins.
Yep.
I was going to ask about that. So you're always going to be the Aurora, but you can make the Aurora look different.
Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for cosmetics, but it still spices it up a bit.
Sure. And how do you unlock those?
In the research area as well.
Oh, okay.
You can show that. That's my personal favorite, the Crimson Void.
Yeah, that one is cool.
Looks as dangerous as it sounds.
And then we have the Ocean Sun and the
Gilded
Flare,
yeah. Which will turn your... Well, I won't spoil it, but...
Do we want to go into Daily Journey as well?
Absolutely. We can talk about some online functionalities that we have in this game. And this is just one of them.
We actually have Sarah that has played on the leaderboard.
which is, I'm happy that it's Sarah FTG since the game is not since the game is not released yet. It's good that it's not covered.
That's good.
But hopefully tomorrow there will be more here. Basically, what this does is, if you start a daily journey, you play the same map as all other players that have purchased the game will play. So this is set from a set seed. Everybody faces the same challenge. They will get the same choice of components. They still make their choice which components they want to purchase and pick up and what path they take. But the ground rules, the foundation is the same for all. So that makes it quite fair, and the longer you come, the more score you will accumulate and the higher you will get on this leaderboard. And there's a global leaderboard, and you can also play with friends if you prefer to do that.
And how often is it refreshed?
Every 24 hours. So you get one day to become the champion of the world, and then it's somebody else's turn, perhaps.
Do you get any? Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's also for every time we reset the leaderboard, we also reset the components. So you will get different components every time the daily journey resets. So these components that we have right now, this is just for today, and then in almost 10 hours, there's gonna be a different setup.
Very good point. What we have two sets of things here. The bottom one, there's a normal component that you just drag and scale armor, normally reserved from finding the ether drake, which is also in the game. But the two top ones are what we call modifiers. They're specifically tied to the daily journey mode, and they sort of make the game, they change the game drastically. So the secret universe there actually hides all sector types. So when you open up the map, you have no idea what sector you will be entering, which is frustrating, but also fun in its own way. But you also have the unbound blaster, which gives you unlimited blaster ammunitions, which means the blaster never have to recharge. You can just fire away as much as you want, which probably makes upgrading the blaster for this journey quite efficient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this setup is actually quite crazy. It's quite powerful. With unlimited ammunition, it's always good. And repairing the hull upon entering new sectors is also very good. As you've seen in the game, as soon as you lose health, you only have events and tinkers to rely on. So having a component that does that for you is obviously very good in order to be able to complete the game.
Yeah.
It's worth noting that it doesn't completely heal you, but it will heal you partly. Another online feature we have, I don't know if you should start a game and we should see if we can identify one of these sectors.
Do you want to go for the normal run or the daily journey?
Well, both would be fun to... Maybe we should do the daily journey.
Let's do the daily journey.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting.
We won't encounter this second online feature in the daily journey, but I can talk about it anyway. If you play the game normally, there is a small icon on certain sectors, and if you go into those sectors, you will basically find shipwrecks of other players. And if you scan those, you will get components that those players have dropped. So if I play the game and I die, you might be able to encounter my shipwreck, for instance. You can opt out of these things if you don't want to play online, but they're there from the beginning for your enjoyment.
Yeah, I really like the fact that you can come across the ruins of other people. That's pretty cool.
It also, again, without going into details, ties into the story in more ways than you might suspect, that you are not the only one doing this thing, even though you might be feeling as the only one.
Interesting.
I'm thinking a bit here. We actually bought the Jack spawn previously, but we never got it to evolve, so maybe I should do that now when we have the time to make it evolve. That would be fun.
Yeah, this is like only on the first map, so...
Yeah.
Loads of time for it to...
And also we have these big asteroids that sometimes pop up in the map that you scan them, but you don't see that they contain scrap. But actually when you destroy them, you get more asteroids that tend to contain other asteroids with scrap inside of it.
It's worth noting as well that since we're only showing the first two maps here, a lot of the content looks similar. But as you progress through the game, the universe will change in drastic ways. Not just the enemies you encounter, but what you will actually see. So this is the effect of
Yeah.
the hidden universe map. Now there is
Everything is unknown.
everything is unknown.
Sort of like space.
Sort of like space.
Yeah, so now we don't know if we're actually going into an elite battle, a shop sector, or a creature. So we'll have to see.
So still scanning those asteroids for resources, making sure you get the bad guys.
That is the tactics of an efficient player.
Yeah,
While
very
there
much
is downtime in between enemy waves, why not scan your surroundings to see where the loot is at? You don't have to scan asteroids to collect it, but it will really benefit you in the long run if you do it consistently.
Yeah, because you need those resources to buy stuff or, you know, get repaired. Should things not have quite gone to plan previously.
Oh, so we got into a creature sector now.
And this is the ether rake we talked about earlier that rewards you with the dragon scale armor if you can survive this battle.
And this one is as you can see, all the asteroids in here are actually containing scraps. So you kind of want to try to get those asteroids before the ether drake, because it's actually mining the asteroids. So there's a bit of a competition between you as a player and the creature to get the scrap from the asteroids.
Exactly.
While also staying away from its beam, because it is very deadly to stand inside of it.
So does it get more powerful the more scrap it takes, or is it just that scrap you don't get?
That's a good idea. It doesn't, but it's I like that idea. It should have become more stronger. Now it's just it basically likes like a classic dragon. It likes loot. It likes to hoard, and that's what it's doing.
That makes sense. I also like the, what was that, an Ecumenopodopolis in the background? What kind of planet is that?
Yeah, if we would have had the research upgrade that we talked about earlier, we could have gotten the exact name by scanning the planet. Now we'll just have to guess.
It's just one name I can never say properly, so just kind of, I'll just make up a word and it can be that.
But again, that's also important to point out that not only is the map different each time you start a run, the components as well, of course, but also the scenes, the sectors that you encounter. They keep getting randomized, so each journey should be quite different when you stand still and look around.
Oh, you're right, that could be a machine world. Yeah. It's one of those two, I'm fairly sure.
Getting some help from the chat here.
Yeah. That efficiency again, getting the mining going before the fight even starts.
Is this this is an elite sector now.
So first a creature sector, then an elite sector. But this is good. I like to have them in the beginning, because obviously once you progress further in the game, the elite battles and the creature sectors will be harder.
Yeah, and you want to get those components early.
So yeah, it's nice to get those away quickly in the beginning, because you will be granted a lot of component power for that. Or scrap.
There's also a defect you can find in normal runs that sort of does this to the map. It hides a certain amount of nodes, but nothing is as nasty as the hidden universe modifier, which literally hides everything.
I actually quite like the hidden universe modifier. I think
it adds something.
It adds
right?
that mystery. Yeah. I mean, it's probably not as nice for Johan, who's actually playing right now, but for us, it's great.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mystery, as you said, but
I mean, it can
I'll
obviously
take my chances.
It can obviously be frustrating if you really want to find a shop.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the good thing is that even if you never find a shop, you won't get bogged down with all the scrap you collect, because you can always upgrade the existing components you have. So it's not in vain.
The choice is yours.
Oh, but we already had Now I'm getting a bit curious. Oh, I can't see that right now either, right? I think we have... Oh, but this is actually very good. Since we have a component from the daily journey that heals the player, we can actually increase that healing with this component, which is...
A perfect synergy effect.
Yeah,
there.
very good. We also have the range, which is also a good synergy together with unlimited ammo.
That's a hard choice.
Yeah, this is a hard choice. But
Chat, which do you think we should go for?
Yeah, let chat decide.
So go for A, Hull Restorer, B, Blaster Range. And we'll just do kind of a visual decider. Blaster, Blaster.
Maybe Blaster it is then.
Range, Blaster, Blaster. Everyone's saying Blaster.
Okay. Now we're going for Blaster.
It is the aggressive choice,
Yeah,
which is good. But again, you can, if you find the right combination of healing power-ups, you will be quite... you will have an easier time against bosses, at least afterwards.
I mean, a hull or health is sort of a currency in itself in the game. You have to be very sparse with the health you have.
Yep.
So
there are only so many tankers you can encounter. It would be fun if we could find a new event, but again, since we don't know,
now it's very hard, but we'll see what happens.
Because I would like to show and talk more about the event sectors. So far, we have only encountered that robotic creature that offered us this choice between power-ups and effects, but you can actually partake in galactic space battles even between multiple spaceships and venture down on certain planet surfaces.
Ooh,
so
interesting. So the space battles are you basically have to pick one of two sides and then you go at it.
Yeah,
exactly. But again, it's going to be tremendously difficult in the dark here. But we'll see if we get lucky.
It would be cool to see that one, because it is quite an interesting event.
Yeah, we really made an effort to make sure that when the player picks an event sector, she should not know what to expect. It could be a battle. It could be... We have some unique shops that are only accessible through the event sectors. But then we also do have these... I would almost call it choose your own adventure kind of situations.
Is this an elite? No, it's not. Okay.
Looks like one.
Yeah, you can actually distinguish the elites because they have the purple glow instead of the red one.
Yeah.
And they are quite a lot bigger than the other enemies.
So this ship in particular has a short-range autocannon that fires against Johan's Aurora if he's close, but it also has these long-range missiles that it can fire. However, as we've seen before, Johan can target those missiles and take them out before they hit him. The enemies don't have the same luxury. If you fire a missile against them, they will have to suffer the consequences.
They haven't discovered point defense yet.
Exactly. That's the that's the upside of being the player in this case.
How much can actually maybe upgrade something? So these modifiers from the daily journey we are not allowed to upgrade, but we did get a component from that, so we can actually upgrade that one. And this one we still have 4 sectors that we need to go through. But I think we're maybe gonna upgrade the range on the blaster.
Yep.
Seeing as it's your main weapon, that does make sense.
Yeah. Let's go for that. And I think I'm gonna be a bit sparse with the scrap in case a shop pops up.
Yeah, I mean you're still pretty early in this this region.
Oh, we got the same one as previously on the creatures.
Well, now you know the tactics. As if you didn't from before, but...
Oh no, this is the first time.
It was an egg.
Yes. There are a multitude of different creatures you can discover though, so there's more than just the 3 ones we have encountered so far.
And I guess the creatures would also change depending on the biome you're in.
It has an effect, absolutely. There are some creatures that are actually reserved for later biomes due to their inherent nature.
Mm-hmm. I still love the visuals of the egg breaking and then the
again, it's
void spawn merging.
when you experience it in VR, it's it's quite a thing. And that should be the end of it.
Boom. Very nice, very nice.
Gonna go down here and destroy this big asteroid as well and see if we can get some more scrap.
Good idea. Free money is always good.
Oh yeah.
The choice between unknown or unknown.
Yeah, hard choice.
Which unknown are you gonna unknown for?
We go for the unknown. No, I forgot to scan the creature.
Oh,
Damn, now I won't get the component. I tend to do that from time to time. I get so caught up in what I'm doing.
Indicate a friendly trading vessel.
Well, we ended up in a shop at least.
Yeah, that's good.
missiles.
Ooh, so we have the volatile blazer, which is I like this one because it causes explosions with the blaster, and explosions are always very fun.
Yeah, so now every shot has basically a 3% chance of doing critical damage to anything you attack, which is neat.
Yeah.
Increases all damage against nearby targets by 10%, though they have to be nearby, I guess.
Yeah, again, not bad for the blaster. But
No, it's very good actually. All of these three components are actually super good. So this is the twin missile, which adds a probability to actually fire 2 rockets for the cost of 1 whenever you fire a missile. So
now again, Johan has the choice. He can actually afford all of them.
Yeah.
But it could also, I mean, you should probably go for it, right? But you could also upgrade the ones that you have. So that's the thing. If you really like your volatile blaster, the correct option for you might be to purchase that one and then upgrade it to level 3. Then you get a 9% chance of creating explosions on enemies with every single shot.
I think we're actually gonna skip the missile and actually do what you said, Chris, and increase or upgrade the volatile blaster because it is a fun component to use. And it does a lot of damage once it explodes. So now we don't really have much other option than going
Straight
into
ahead.
the unknown. The only unknown we can go to.
I'm hoping for an event.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think it's gonna be an event.
No, it doesn't seem like it.
Well,
I think it's an elite battle.
Looks like it.
yeah.
Oh, damn.
Purple ship. Well, you have the exploding blasters now. You should be fine.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So this is actually one other thing. I don't know if we talked about this earlier, but I think it's good to mention it again. Weapons do different damage towards hull and shield. So the laser is a very effective weapon against enemies that have a shield. And once you've depleted the shield, then it's good to go back to the blaster because that has more effect on the hull.
It's actually very good to point out. It's part of the whole tactics that you need to handle.
Health went down so fast there, blimey.
Yeah, we have a lot of the blaster upgrades right now, which is always nice when you get those synergies. And there we see the stun from the elite ship's shield being depleted.
And this particular elite enemy spawns smaller enemies that, once destroyed, creates big explosions that can actually damage not only Johan but other enemies as well. So you need to be careful here.
Yeah, so you see me moving around quite a lot when they explode because you don't want to be near them because they do quite nasty damage.
Yeah, I see when they're like flashing that yellow and then boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did it, Captain.
You sure did.
At least they can't just fly towards you while they're exploding. They just seem to drift and then.
I mean, sometimes you're very unlucky, and they are like going towards you while you kill them, and it can be hard to dodge them. So you kind of have to choose when you kill them from time to time.
So what are the options here? The Zealous Force Field.
Oh yes, this one is also very interesting component. So this actually creates a type of force field around the player that it nullifies incoming damage from all the weapons. So this is a probability that it will spawn whenever an enemy dies.
Mhm.
This one is actually very good. And then we have the Iron Will, which reduces damage from enemy missiles by 10, 20, 30%. But I think I'm gonna, since we can only pick one, I think we're going for the Ciel's Force Field. Because
for
I
it.
think that is a quite fun component.
Jolly good.
And for viewers that are just joining us, I guess we can repeat that what we're looking at is the VR game Ghost Signal that is released tomorrow. If you're curious to try it out yourself.
Jack of all trades was born. Oh, you got the new
Yes,
component.
now we actually
Aha.
got it evolved, so now we can see what it does. So it is a very powerful, it increases your ship speed and damage to both shield and hull. So it is a very good component to have. Hence the build up for waiting 9 sectors before you get it. Now we have the Tinkers again, but this time I'm full at health and I don't have any defects, I don't think, no.
No.
So I think we're gonna go for an extra missile because that's always fun.
Give you that extra edge against the boss.
Also, you don't necessarily have to make a choice here. You could just go straight to the boss, but I'm gonna get another missile.
Again, the sibling rivalry.
I can take a
strikes.
hint.
Yeah.
Okay, so this should be the boss battle then. Is this the time we?
That should be
take it down?
safe to assume.
Yeah. So it's not the unknown.
Well, you're well equipped this time.
Yeah, for sure.
So you said that the 3 turrets could do different things.
Yeah.
So now we actually encountered a different turret here, the mine layer, which is the one that is the satellite is currently at the bottom. So that one spawns mines that will seek out the Aurora, if not destroyed before. We also have a missile blaster. Oh, sorry, yeah, a missile blaster.
Took a hit there.
I tend to try and aim for the missile satellite first because it can be on once it upgrades when you kill the others, it's gonna spawn a lot of missiles and it's gonna be tricky. But I guess it's very much up to preferability for what you choose. But I like to go for that one first to get that away.
Now the other 2 are empowered.
Yep,
Yeah.
you got your 4 beams instead of your 2 again.
There's also a thing with this boss that if I remove shield from this one and then kill another satellite, it's also gonna heal up. So you kind of need to focus on just one satellite when you're in this boss fight.
But this time
That's a lot of lasers.
it has a lot of lasers. But skillful maneuvering didn't even graze the ship. Perfect. This time you were more prepared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit more calm.
And now the Chimera core is just a sitting duck, which can be easily taken care of.
You have to scan it.
Performance, Captain. Select which component to equip.
Also, we actually got the volatile laser now as well, which is the exact same thing as the volatile blaster, where it has a probability to cause explosions while you're using the laser. And I like this one as well, but right now we aren't really using the laser that much. But also we don't really need that much scrap at this point. Damage is always more fun, so I guess we're gonna go for that one.
So we don't want to give away the entire game,
Yeah.
but should we just look at the very first next sector?
Yeah, maybe we can do that.
Something a little bit special here.
It's a little sneak peek right here.
Very curious.
Yeah, so now basically after this boss,
Oh, that's interesting. We got a shop sector instead. We don't really have.
There we go,
have
starfish.
This one, the probability drive is interesting. It increases the likelihood of all components that have a probability to trigger it increases those chances for each level, which is obviously very good in synergy with the volatile blaster. We also have the rapid special that we looked at earlier that decreases the recharge time of the special ability.
But the probability drive there, yeah, that's really
Yeah.
good if you have accumulated a lot of components that have probability. So.
Yeah, so I'm actually gonna take that one and gonna save the rest since... Should we go into the next one then, since this
Yep.
one was only the shop? Kinda nice to get a shop straight after the boss.
That was convenient.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, so the second biome is a bit more gloomy with
Yeah.
lightning storms, black holes, and so forth. Here the enemies are actually quite different if you look at them closer in game. They might be small from this view, but when you look at them, they're quite different. They tend to be more insect-like and explode.
Yeah, it's
when
the
you-
arthropods section, right?
Yeah.
So is the second biome always going to be the same type of biome, or is that also randomized?
That will also be the same. The enemies will be the same, but you will never know exactly how the maps are going to be laid out.
But I mean, it's always going to be this gloomy...
Yeah, that's correct.
Gotcha.
So here a lot of enemies explode again once you've died, once you kill them. So you need to be really careful.
Yeah, so now it's not just the elite spawns, now actually normal enemies to it as well. It's not all enemies in Biome 2, but generally the small ones tend to explode. And I tend to forget that as well.
So a question here from chat. Can we get a non-VR version of this?
Well, the game is built from the ground up to be... I mean, it's built for VR, so most likely not. This is a VR experience that needs to be experienced in VR, basically. And I really hope that a lot of players will be able to do that, because it is quite a different thing than playing a flat screen game.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't really want to spoil too much. So should we maybe close from here? Close the run? Or?
I think that's...
Yeah.
Nobody will doubt your skills anymore, but...
You made it through.
Yeah,
made it
wow,
through.
the lights.
Welcome back.
Thank you. It's a whole
Back
different
to
world.
reality.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Or is it? Yeah. We'll never know.
So chat, do you have any questions for us? I guess we're entering a bit of a Q&A at the moment. About what you've just seen, about Ghost Signal or fast travel games or anything else, really? Not literally anything else. We don't know the answer to the life of the universe and everything, except that it's 42. Another game to add to the rotation. Nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
Really hoping for... We're really excited for you guys to try it. We spend a lot of time and love and energy, the whole team, crafting this experience. So we're really, really, really eager to have players test it. Hopefully you like it.
Yeah, and having given it a go myself, it's pretty cool. Will anything from Ghost Signal ever make its way into regular Stellaris, like maybe the Aurora model as an option for science ships? It is something we've discussed. I can't say anything definitive, but it is something we have discussed. And we would like to.
Nothing would please us more, so...
No, exactly.
That would be really nice.
It would be a really cool nod. We were actually thinking, like, specifically how we could implement Aurora in some way. But yeah, I can't make any promises on that because I don't know. That would be a Ladrin. Yeah, it is a Ladrin question, Stephen.
And again, as you play Ghost Signal more, the tie-ins to the original game will become more and more apparent.
I have a very important question I asked, but nothing happened since. You're going to have to ask it again. Are you aware you forgot to change the Steam description from toxoids? That's not an ask question. Will there be related events from Ghost Signal and Stellaris anomalies and the like? I mean, that's the same question as, is there anything from Ghost Signal going to be in Stellaris? I don't know, is the honest answer to that. When will the forest forum icons for Stellaris. Okay, so that's a regular Stellaris question. When we... There's a longer description and explanation of what's going on there, which I don't think this is really the platform for it, but we're looking into it, but we're not able to do it just yet. So what of the things that people can get into the game are you most excited for people to get into and try?
That's a difficult question. I think the cheesy answer would be everything, because I want them to experience everything. But I think if you can actually manage to beat the game, it's going to be fun to see players react to what you can do after that, basically. Yeah. And again, I personally like the whole collecting all, finding all the enemies, finding all the components, finding all the species, and documenting them in your in-game library.
Yeah, through the data files and
exactly
filling that out, getting all the information in there.
Yeah. We're quite pleased about many things. We really like all the power-ups we come up with. We are really we think we've done a good job on the bosses, so that would be also fun to hear what players thinks.
Yeah, that was the first time I've seen one of the boss fights. The elites obviously are pretty cool, but then the boss with the rotating satellites, and I'm sure there are other bosses in there as well.
There is.
Yeah,
there are. Those are a category of their own. So,
how many different bosses are there?
We want to give that away.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe we should leave that again.
Super excited to see all the creatures and explore the universe. Yeah, the first time that I saw the Ether Drake in particular, I was like, "Whoa, that's cool."
And I mean, again, now we have been playing quite fast here, but there's nothing stopping players from just pausing in every sector. Well, after the battle is done, obviously, and just taking the time to look around. You can really study these space stations in detail if you move close to them.
Yeah, there are some very cool details of planets and what's on us. So,
yep.
How long will gameplay be for each playthrough?
Well, that depends on how good you are. That's the easy answer. But if once you've gotten the hang of it, you can complete the game in one sitting, basically, being a rogue. But it will take some time to get that skill level, I would safely say.
Part of the mechanics here are you're expected to die. You're expected to get the persistent upgrades, which then empower you, then you can go back in and try again.
Yep.
So it's not like, I mean, people might well be able to go through the whole way in one sitting. Is unlikely, I guess, but...
No, it's definitely doable. And again, since it's VR, it might be a good thing.
Is there an achievement for that?
Currently, there are no achievements in the game at all, but we have been thinking about it.
Do you have any stories from bugs and things like that you saw during development? Like anything that sticks out?
Yeah, for sure. We had a lot that we needed to fix, but I think there was one thing you mentioned prior to this, that the scanning of planets, of the information of planets, where you could have, we actually wanted that as a feature to make it more, to more tell a story about the planets around you, so you're not just surrounded. But we realized once we put that in that it takes away quite a lot of the focus from the players. So we scaled that down. We still have it in the game as a tech tree research that you can make, but it's an option that you can select on and off once you've unlocked it. Which we find, because we still wanted it in to have some information about space stations and whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is an action game, quite fast-paced. So we scale it back a bit.
Yeah.
You mentioned during the gameplay that you're also going to be able to have some kind of interaction with planets. How does that work?
Well, once you enter these event sectors that we only get to see happen once during these 3 journeys, certain planets might have a beacon on them, and if you then scan that beacon, you will be able to get a communications link down to the planet's surface and see some vistas of those planets. There are blizzard worlds that you can encounter. There are lost temples. There are quite a few things you can find there.
And would those be things you would then put in the data files, I guess? So you're trying to find the different planets types.
You will put the rewards you get from those planets into the data files.
Gotcha.
That's correct.
What was the initial goal for making Go Signal? Making a VR game or something else?
Well, since we are a VR company, we always knew it was going to be a VR game.
Yeah.
And again, before we even started making the design and exploring that, we knew it was going to be a roguelite. But a lot of stuff has changed. I mean, I think initially we wanted to have multiple ships that you were sort of going to control a fleet. But then again, we scaled it back. We made it more personal. We felt that one ship with you and Veer as your robotic co-pilot captain, that was the way to go. Feeling not alone, but still a bit more exposed in this part of the unknown universe.
Yeah, I hadn't realized the fact that your main engine had been disabled, so you really are stuck in that area until...
Exactly. You can only make short jumps and not any long jumps. So you literally, your survival depends on finding why this was caused by the ghost signal and if there is a way to fix it.
Mm-hmm. So is there anything else that you wanted to talk about specifically about Go Signal? Is there anything that you want to highlight as a cool feature? Or?
I don't know what you say, Joe, and I think we covered most of it.
Yeah, I mean, the synergy of components is obviously a good drive in the game. But also the events, like you new stuff pop up every time. So it is an interesting universe with a lot of secrets to explore. So yeah.
And if you like the original game, we do truly hope that you will like this game as well. It's an opportunity to really zoom into, even though it's not a grand strategy game, it's an opportunity to zoom into a small part of the Stellaris universe and experience an adventure and a story within those confines. I have one on one of my cue cards that I was handed here. If I wanted to mention any last details, I'll make the marketing guys really happy and read exactly what it says. Make sure to follow @GoSignalVR and start your engines tomorrow as the game is launching.
Tomorrow.
Make
sure to check that out. And also be sure to like and subscribe on each of the different channels that you may be watching or follow if you're on Twitch. And I think that's it from us for today. And we will see you next time. Thanks everyone for watching and see you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.